Oh,
Exactly.
100, yeah, 100%. I actually, so I've gone to school now and learned so much more about neuroscience. It's actually amazing. I'm so happy that I've actually had this knowledge that I do now, because I do understand, with these stimulating things, it's not terrible to do, every now and then or so. But I know it's when you get that these things are made for like quick reward, and how it's made to kind of come into your brain is that it just gives you so much stimulation. So when you are doing something that takes discipline, like doing your homework or other things like that, it makes them so much more dull, so much more dry, and it just makes them. It's like, why, if I can feel so good all the time, or have these crazy highs and lows by playing this game and have so much like emotional, um, I guess, engagement here, why would I work so hard like learning something? Why would I do that? It just doesn't make any sense. And that's what I see with a lot of my friends that play a lot of video games. And um yeah, honestly, I haven't it's so very hard to see some of my friends kind of like the different ways that their lives are going based off of how their involvements in, virtual world or in a video game, because it is so compelling, it is so engaging. And, but what I know what that is now, it's just chemicals in your brain. It's just dopamine signaling and taking over your reward system. And I don't want to get like too technical with the brain stuff, but basically, if I could break that down, very just simply, you could kind of think of it as three different parts. So you have the front of your brain, which is going to be kind of your prefrontal cortex. And this is going to make all of your decisions, right? And doing hard things like reading books, you can kind of work out your brain and make that stronger, and you can make better decisions for yourself. And when you have a strong prefrontal cortex, that is going to allow you to regulate your emotions and regulate your stress better. It's going to make you much, much more healthier just as a person in general. And you're going to be much better socially. There's a whole plethora of good things, I think, with increasing, your prefrontal cortex capabilities. And in the center, the second part, that is going to be kind of where you are feeling a lot, kind of more your emotional side of things. It's going to be, all of your emotions that kind of rise up, and like, oh, I really want that piece of cake. Oh, I need to play this game right now. It's kind of those things overtake your prefrontal cortex in cases of addiction, and video game addiction as well. It's in the DSM-5, which is a how psychologists and therapists, how they actually classify these certain things. It's finally catching up with behavioral addictions like gambling and things like that. And I think they're all tied one and the same. And then the third part, that would just be more your brainstem area. That's kind of where the dopamine is all coming from. So what ends up happening is you have all this flood of dopamine that is just giving you all of these very, very strong emotions, especially when you're a teenager. The front of your brain is still growing. So you're really susceptible to these things. So you got to be pretty careful with that. So if you have all these wild emotions that are shooting your behaviors in certain ways, you're not directing your life anymore. It's that is directing your life, and that's why it's so hard, because you don't know. I
Mhm.
mean, you have to get a neuroscience degree to understand how to rewire your biology, like, that it takes years and years to understand that at a deep level. So it's so difficult, but I know with that kind of understanding, that's what allows you to be, "Yeah, I wanna be, prefrontally intelligent. I want to be able to control those emotions and have control of my life again, because it's the same thing." And you see in the same cases of like mood disorders, depression, things like that, a lot of it is mood regulation. And so what I would like to do is to be able to provide a sort of philosophy and also treatments that could impact your brain in a way to where you can understand how that sort of shooting of dopamine, how those feelings are trying to overtake your behavior, and how you can understand to regulate that properly through different practices and different techniques, like meditation.